Welcome to the newest edition of TOBA Breakaway Rail Talk. I'm Joe Bianca. I'm an ownership advisor at West Point Thoroughbreds. And today on TOBA Breakaway Rail Talk, we bring in the president of the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, Dan Metzger, to discuss the upcoming 40th annual TOBA National Awards. It's one of the most fun events, one of the most significant events put on by the people who are the engine of this sport, the owners and the breeders, voted on by them. We talk all about the finalists, the awards themselves, the event, and all the fun that's going to be. It's September 5th and 6th in Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm just so stoked to have this partnership with TOBA because this is a really big part of our goal and our mission on this show is to get to know people in this industry on a one-on-one basis and, learn what makes them tick, learn what got them into this game and why it's so important to them to this day. So it's been a great partnership so far. And what better person to explain the benefits and the excitement of being part of TOBA and the National Awards than Dan Metzger. Let's talk to Dan. So we're so thrilled to bring this next guest to the Rail Talk studio. He's the president of the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, Dan Metzger. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joe. Thrilled to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you, and we're so glad to have you guys as a sponsor. This is like a real synergistic thing for us because we like to get to know people on a one-on-one basis in this industry, and you guys obviously have so many interesting members, a lot of which are going to be honored at the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association Awards, the National Awards, the 40th anniversary of the TOBA National Awards, which is going to take place over 2 days in Lexington, Saturday, September 6th at Fasig-Tipton, and the National Awards Luncheon, which will honor breeders from 19 states in Canada, is going to be held Friday, September 5th at Godolphin. Dan, for someone who hasn't attended the awards before, tell us a little bit about what it's like and just the atmosphere and the experience.
Absolutely. This is, as you mentioned, our 40th anniversary. We're very excited about it. And TOBA's National Awards has always been held on the eve of the Keeneland September yearling sale. We're having it at Fasig-Tipton. And it's unique in a way that, unlike the Eclipse Awards, which obviously has a higher level of recognition throughout the industry, the TOBA National Awards, the people that vote on it are your fellow owners and breeders. And that's not a criticism or anything against how the Eclipse Awards does it with the media and the racing forum and the racing secretaries. But members of the TOBA board vote on the finalists and the winners of the dinner. It's going to be a lot of fun this year, changing the format a little bit. We're making it more of a casual atmosphere. Blue jeans, boots, and bourbon, as we're saying. Central Kentucky, obviously, being the bourbon capital of the world. And we're actually having the actual awards ceremony for the first time in the actual sales ring area at Fasig-Tipton because we're having some live entertainment intermingled within the awards with Dan Tominski, who's a very nationally known bluegrass act. But it's always an exciting evening, and it's a way to really recognize those owners and breeders. And even those who don't win the award, just to be a finalist says something for their accomplishments from 2024.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are the engine of the sport, and I take your point that it's got to be even more meaningful to get voted in by your peers. I think of sports sometimes where they do like the polls and the All Pro or the All Star teams that are voted on by the players themselves. And I feel like that's got to be an additional honor to be recognized by the people that you're competing against. That's a special thing.
Well, we think it is, and we've had people acknowledge that in the past. And again, the support of TOBA comes from its members. It's from owners and breeders, and the involvement from the owners and breeders getting involved for the betterment of the sport. And this is a night of celebration. It's a lot of fun, and to recognize, not only the top owners and breeders, but the top horses, including the National Broodmare of the Year, who's recognized, in the sales catalog as the Broodmare of the Year, and that is voted on by the TOBA members.
Yep, and we're going to get to some of the individual award winners because a lot of some of the winners are going to be announced later on, but some of them have been announced in advance. Let's start, and this is like my chance to basically run an Oscars awards nomination reveal party. I've always wanted to do this, so envelope please. We'll start with the finalists for the National Owner of the Year. So there's 3 finalists for each category: Godolphin, Juddmonte, and Klaravich stables. Obviously, 3 of the most extraordinary and powerful and prolific owners in the game. We see them winning big races left and right. Dan, tell me a little bit about the individual accomplishments that you think got them to this stage.
Yeah, Godolphin has been on an absolute run here for the last 4 or 5 years. Incredible run. They led both owners and breeders in 2024 earnings in North America and won 32 graded stakes races in North America, including Immersive, Good Cheer, East Avenue, Rebels Romance, over $20 million in earnings. So I don't think you can say much more about what Godolphin has done. It's just an incredible run with a great organization. Klaravich Stables, Seth Clareman, another remarkable year for Mr. Clareman, nearly $8.4 million in earnings. Won 13 graded stakes races, including Grade 1 winners, program trading, randomized, domestic product, and ways and means. So another incredible year for Klaravich Stables. And Juddmonte, another international powerhouse. They had over $7 million worth of earnings, 11 graded stakes winners, including Grade 1 winners, Idiomatic and White Beam. So those 3 just really, had an incredible year. And one thing TOBA has done over the years, we'd never automatically go to the top earners. We always look for some special stories, guys who had smaller racing stables, and you may see this a little bit later on. But one example I remember from years ago, maybe 6, 7 years ago, Bob Edwards, E5 Racing, won our National Owner of the Year. Didn't have the numbers and volume that they had with some of the larger stables, but for the smaller stable, he had incredible success. So, but the Godolphin, Klaravich, and Juddmonte were so far ahead of everybody else this year. They're 3 very deserving candidates as the finalists for the Owner of the Year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They were ubiquitous. They were everywhere in the winner's circle for big races all over the place. Multiple champions, as you mentioned. 3 finalists for the National Breeder of the Year are next. So there is some crossover with Godolphin. Obviously, a lot of their homebreds are the horses that they have success on the racetrack with, but also Judy Hicks and Town and Country Horse Farms. Dan, tell me a little bit more about them and their accomplishments.
Absolutely, Godolphin we spoke about, but just horses bred by Godolphin. Obviously, they some of those horses they did in that race earned more than $23 million in 2024, winning 226 races. Homebred horses accounted for 26 of Godolphin's graded stakes wins in 2024, so another remarkable achievement. Judy Hicks, Torpedo Anna, Horse of the Year. I don't think we need to say a whole lot more. Not a breeder on the level of the powerhouses, but obviously reached incredible success in 2024 with Torpedo Anna. And Town and Country Farms has been here in Central Kentucky, a pretty well-known secret. They breed very good racehorses. They bred Grade 1 winner Adair Manor, Newgate, Denim and Pearls, and Formidable Man. So that was a great year for Town and Country, and certainly very deserving to be one of the finalists for the TOBA National Breeder of the Year.
Yeah, it's great to see them honored alongside of Godolphin and Judy Hicks. I mean, yeah, Torpedo Anna, she speaks for herself. She is a walking advertisement for Judy Hicks. So congratulations to all 3 finalists. Let's move on to the Small Breeder of the Year. And I love that you guys do this. Before we get to the individual finalists, how do you guys quantify Small Breeder?
The Small Breeder of the Year is it limits the number of starts for how many for that year for a breeder, and I think the number's around 15 total starts for the year. It might be off, give or take a few, but we quantify that. So and sometimes you need to do a little bit of digging to make sure you don't have a larger racing partnership in a smaller breeder partnership, large breeder in a smaller breeder partnership. So we try to recognize those small breeders who are obviously the backbone of the industry. The large breeders obviously carry a lot of the weight, but the small breeders throughout the country play such a significant importance in the success of our sport. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they all matter and they all factor in the game. So the finalists for the small breeder of the year are William Butler, Cuyathy, and Lance Gasaway, Daniel Hamby, and 4G Racing. Tell me a little bit about what they accomplished in 2024.
Well, William Butler was the New York Breeder of the Year. He will be recognized this year, and he bred My Main Squeeze, who won an open company.
Good timing.
I'm sorry.
Just won at Saratoga. It's good timing.
Exactly. New York Bred Horse of the Year. Won an open company at Churchill Downs in the 8 Bells and the Dogwood Stakes. And Mr. Butler also bred Rodney, who was the New York Bred Sprinter of the Year. So very, very deserving candidate from New York. Cuyathy, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, it's Joe and Debbie McCloskey. They bred Johannes, who won 5 graded stakes races in 2024, finished second in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and they also bred stakes winner Sea Dancer. So a great story there with them. And the last finalist for the National Small Breeder of the Year is Lance Gasaway, Daniel Hamby, and 4G Racing, Mystic Dan. I don't think we need to say much more about that. Winner of the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby. And that's obviously the dream, the pinnacle for anybody involved in our sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some crossover there as well, because we're going to move on to the finalists for the Cot Campbell Partnership of the Year. And one of those finalists is the group of Lance Gasaway, Daniel Hamby Racing, 4G Racing, and Valley View Farm on the ownership side. My Racehorse is in there as well as a finalist, and the partnership of SF Racing, Starlight Racing, Madicket Stables, Robert Masterson, Stone Street Stables, Waves Edge Capital, and Catherine Donovan. That's a mouthful, but you got to have a lot of people together in this game sometimes to make it work. I know that obviously at West Point. Tell us a little bit more about the Partnership of the Year finalists.
Yeah, about 6-7 years ago, we started the Cot Campbell Racing Partnership of the Year to recognize the emergence of, and Joe, as you know, being involved with West Point, the importance of and the growing number of racing partnerships. And we've never put a limit on what a partnership is, as long as it's more than one person. And it's just to recognize those accomplishments. And it's named after Cot Campbell, obviously the pioneer in racing partnerships. And Cot was a great friend of Toba's and served on our graded stakes committee for a number of years. But Lance Gasaway, 4G Racing, Daniel Hamby, and Valley View own Mystic Dan, obviously won the Kentucky Derby, and we think it's, again, the pinnacle of the sport. Great success story there. My Racehorse, Seize the Gray, won the Preakness Stakes last year, the last classic victory for the late Wayne Lucas. And they also had Straight No Chaser, who winner of the Breeders' Cup Sprint. So I think those are a great year for My Racehorse. And our third finalist is the powerful combination of SF Racing, Starlight Racing, Madicat, Stone Street, Robert Masterson, Catherine Donovan, and Waves Edge Capital. They had 2 champions in 2024. I mean, what a remarkable year for them with that. National Treasure, who won the Pegasus last year. Citizen Bull won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and they also own Santa Anita handicap winner Newgate. So a remarkable year for that partnership, and for all 3 finalists, very, very deserving.
Yeah, no doubt. And in addition to the awards and the finalists that we just read, there's going to be a lot of state and Canadian breeders of the year. We won't go through all of them. You can find more about the winners on the TOBA website and obviously at the event itself. But we've got the Arizona, Arkansas Breeder of the Year, California Breeder of the Year, Canada Small Breeder and Breeder of the Year, Florida, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia, and Washington Breeder of the Year. So it's going to be awesome to see all of those folks, and they fall into the category of small breeders a lot of times. I'm sure get honored and acknowledged at the TOBA Awards. A few other individual winners we want to go through real quick. The National Broodmare Broodmare of the Year was Sataves. Tell me more, Dan. The name isn't like a household name to me, but she had to have some huge accomplishments in 2024.
Well, her huge accomplishment would be Torpedo Anna.
There we
And
go.
that was, a remarkable achievement for her. Not a household name, but again, it's the committee, the TOBA members that were on the committee. They look at all the data. They have a lengthy meeting to decide all these winners, and they're very. It's a very spirited discussion about all these winners and finalists, and they looked at Sataves as just having for her accomplishments in 2024 with Torpedo Anna is something that was deserving of the National Broodmare of the Year.
She is Torpedo Anna is the rocket ship that takes us all along on the ride, and she's obviously done well for her breeder and her broodmare as well. So that's super exciting. $40,000 yearling purchase. I'm guessing her dams offspring going forward are going to be significantly more expensive than that, but that in itself is an accomplishment. To have a $40,000 yearling go on and become a champion the way that she was. The Rood and Riddle Sport Horse of the Year. We love everybody at Rood and Riddle. This year we'll go to Zealand. Tell me a little bit about this award in particular, Dan. How did that come about?
Yeah, a few years back, we were approached by Rood and Riddle, who wanted to recognize second careers in thoroughbreds. And, TOBA is the parent company of the Thoroughbred Charities of America, which is also very involved in giving funds and monies not only to retired racehorses, but to, to second careers. Organizations. And the Rood and Riddle, we thought it was just very, in light of all the issues of horses retiring, not going to the breeding shed, we thought it would be a good idea. It's probably at least 10 years ago that we recognize a sport horse of the year. And Zealand was 0 for 11 at the racetrack, was Our Prince Charlie, previously was his name, but has found great success as a hunting champion and a hunter champion. And I think it's just a great story to look at those second careers in thoroughbreds and to highlight those at the TOBA National Awards. And we have a great
100%.
partnership with Rood and Riddle, and it's part of what makes the evening so special.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And somehow it makes it better that he was 0 for 11 on the racetrack. You know what I mean? Because they all have value and they all have purpose, and they all potentially could have second careers. So shout out to you guys, and shout out to Rood and Riddle for acknowledging those horses. I think that's huge. All right, last but not least, because this is one of my favorite events of the year, and obviously going to be one of my favorite awards at the TOBA Awards, is the Claiming Crown Horse of the Year. Like a Salt Shaker is going to be honored as the Claiming Crown Horse of the Year. Talk to me about him, Dan, but also about you and your guys' involvement in the Claiming Crown, and such an important event each year.
Yeah, TOBA was the co-founder of the Claiming Crown in 1999, along with the National HBPA. And it was right after I started at TOBA. And I think a lot of people, to be honest with you, didn't think the Claiming Crown would make it more than a couple of years. There were a lot of skeptics. Now here we are 26 years later, running in the 27th Claiming Crown. We've had great hosts going back to Canterbury was the initial host of the Claiming Crown, got it off and launched. Much credit to Randy Sampson and everybody at Canterbury. We've had a few other places we've gone to, but we had a good run at Gulfstream Park, and now we've settled in at Churchill Downs, hosting it again this year. And it's really a way to recognize, it's kind of the poor man's Breeders' Cup. It's for the claiming horses. And to see the excitement for those owners and trainers and everybody affiliated with these horses to have their big day, and to be running this year under the famed Twin Spires of Churchill Downs, it means so much to those people, and the excitement that they have, it means as much to those people as someone who wins a Breeders' Cup race, or even someone who wins another a big graded stakes race. And Like a Salt Shaker is our Claiming Crown Horse of the Year, won the 24 Rapid Transit, and so it's great to recognize those people, and we have a lot of a great partnership with Eric Hamelback and our friends at the National HBPA to make sure the Claiming Crown continues now in its 27th year to be better than ever. And it's become a circle of the calendar event for those horsemen.
Yeah, absolutely. And for horse players too, honestly, the fields are big and it's a really exciting event. And, similar in the same vein as the Sport Horse of the Year award, honoring horses who may not be grade one winners, but who fill our race cards and have an important cog in the ecosystem of racing. So I love that you guys do that, and everybody should support it with their wagering dollars or go see the Claiming Crown at least at some point. So that's the wrap on the awards that we're announcing today. There will be more awards that'll be announced in a press release and then on the TOBA website as well. The TOBA 40th National Awards at Fasig-Tipton on September 6th is the Bluegrass, Blue Jeans, and Bourbon celebration. I'm looking at the flyer right now. Is that a Peb Balak original, Dan? I really like that cartoon.
That's Remy. That's
Remy, right?
Chip off the old block, and yes,
Yeah.
that's Remy.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful event. So September 5th and September 6th, go check it out. You can learn more at the TOBA website at toba.org. Dan Metzger, thank you so much for the time. Anything else you want to bring up or plug while we're here?
No, I would just look forward to seeing everybody in September to celebrate, the great accomplishments and achievements from owners and breeders across the sport. On the eve of the world's biggest yearling sale. So it's when the world comes to Lexington, and we're looking forward to it, and appreciate and excited about our partnership with Rail Talk.
Absolutely. It's going to be a phenomenal event, even if you do let John Green in. It's going to be a great time and honoring the people who make our sport go. Dan Metzger, one of the people that makes our sport go. Thanks for the time, my man.
Thank you.